Okay, right. Based on our previous video, the one you just watched before this, I would like you to pause this video and try question 5, 6, and 7. So pause the video, try question 5, 6, and 7. Then I'm going to show you the answers before I move on to the next part, which is going to be the next slide. Okay, so pause the video and try these questions. Okay, hope you tried them. I'm just going to show you the answers to this, and all I need you to do is to just use them to mark your answers. And then in the next slide, I'm going to go over a couple of questions that are the same as this. So pause the video and use these answers to mark your work. Okay, hope you've done well on that. Now moving on to this section here, I would like you to pause the video again and try question 8, 9, and 10. Right, so hope you've tried these ones. Now what I'm going to do now, I want to do question 10 for you. And it's going to be the same approach you're going to use to do the other questions that that I've just shown you that could have been difficult. So trying question 10 says, find the coordinates of the points on the curve y equals to this, where the tangent is horizontal. Okay, the coordinates means you need to find the value of x and y there. Now the question is here, it doesn't tell us what x is, what y is. However, they say that the tangent is horizontal. In other words, if I was to draw this curve, maybe it's like that, and you draw the x-axis like that. So that's going to be the x-axis, and that's going to be the y-axis. And this is the curve we're talking about. Okay? So we might be saying that where the tangent is horizontal, the tangent is horizontal at this point here at the bottom. Right? So we are talking about this point here. So the value of x and y coordinate here. So the value of x and y coordinate at this point. So that's x and that's y there. Okay? There's another point here which could be, depends on what the question is, so this point here. This point here. So here again, you can see that the tangent, if I was to draw the tangent, it's going to be horizontal, right? So we know that the gradient is basically 0. Where the tangent is horizontal, the gradient is 0. So what we need to do is to differentiate that and find the gradient function and equate it to 0, because the tangent is horizontal, which means that the gradient is 0. Now, so differentiating that, we're going to do dy dx equals to 3 times a third. 3 times a third is 1. Should be able to do that. So 3 times a third is 1, because that will then cancel. So we only got 1 there. So then we got 1x squared, because this power goes down by 1. And then it's going to be 2 times 1, which is going to be 2. And then the power of x goes down by 1. Right? Now here I've got 1 if you want. At the top of that 8, there's 1. 1 times 8 is going to be minus 8. And then this one, we're going to need to take away from it. When we take away 1 from 1, we're going to end up with x to the power of 0. X to the power of 0 is basically going to be 1. And 1 times 8 is just 8 here. Okay. Now, once you've done that, you then equate that to 0. You're going to equate that to 0. So you're going to say that x squared plus 2x minus 8 is equals to 0. This gradient function here is 0 because the tangent is horizontal. The gradient is 0. So we equate it to 0. Now, once we've done this, then we can solve this by factorizing, or we can use quadratic equation. Sometimes you're going to end up with an equation or a function that you can't factorize, but we can try. So thinking about two numbers that are times to get negative 8, but if I add or get 2, would obviously be negative, it's going to be negative 2 and positive 4. Okay, so if you don't know how to factorize this, you might want to go and watch my videos on factorizing quadratic functions. Okay, so we normally say that this x times by that x would have been x squared, and this negative 2 times by 4 would have been negative 8, and this negative 2 plus 4 would have been 2 here. So that's how to factorize. Now, once you factorize that, then that means that either the first bracket is equal to 0, in which case x is 2, or the second bracket is equals to 0, in which case x is going to be equals to negative 4. Okay, so find the coordinates of the points on the curve where y equals to that, where the tangent is horizontal. So two things that we found. We found that x is 2 on the first point and x is negative for the second point. In other words, in this curve, there are two places whereby the curve is basically horizontal. Yeah, think about it big here, here, and here. So x is 2 here, let's pretend, and x is negative 4 on this one here. So we are trying to find the coordinates here. Now I know what x is, but I don't know what y is. Here I know what x is. I know what x is technically, but I don't know what y is on those 2 points. So let's now start with this one. To find what y is, all you need to do, you're going to sub in this x back in the equation here. So anywhere where x is, you're going to sub in this 2 here. So everywhere where x is, you're going to sub in that 2. So to find y, we're going to do a third times by x cubed, right? Because it says x cubed there, okay? And then we're going to add plus x squared. Remember, x is 2, and all you need to do is square it minus 8 times what x is. X is 2. So I'm just subbing in x there to find what y is. Okay, so when you want to find y, you sub x back in the original function because that's the one that tells you what y is. Okay, right. So now simplifying this one, I've got 8 there. This is 8 times a third is 8 over 3. And this one here is basically going to be 4. Now this is 2 times 8, which is going to be 16. And you minus it there. All you need to do is to simplify this. If you don't know how to simplify in fractions, go and watch my video on numbers and look at section which says fraction. Okay, so that's how to do this kind of question. So it follows the same principle. Even question 8, question 9, you do the very same thing. Okay, going back to that again, what we do is differentiate this. Once you've differentiated it, equate it to what the gradient is. The gradient is 2. Once you've done that, get what x is. Once you got what x is, sub it back in this particular place where x is to find what y is. Now, sometimes you have 2 values of x. Like, for example, this one. You just do the same. For example, here, I will just take this negative 2 and negative 4 here, put it there, put it there, put it there, and then simplify. That will give you the other value of y. Right? So in some cases, you got 2 values of y. Okay? So I'm just going to show the answer. You're going to pause the video again, maybe if you want to do question 8 and 9 again, if you think that you got them wrong. So do question 8 and 9 again before I show you what the answer is. So pause and do now. Right, so I hope you done them. So I'm just going to show you the answer quickly. So those are the answers. You might want to, if you just want to pause your video, then after I've taken all this off for you, and then try them. Okay. So pause the video, and then just mark your answers based on the ones that I've given here. Okay. Right, so hope you did well on that.